Hey everybody, I hope you guys are doing well. So I saw this video. I'm not going to show you the video actually, but I saw a video that made its way around the internet last night. And it was basically of a mother disciplining her child to the point that he was like, I'll just take the whooping. And I have a still shot here. Obviously, his face is kind of blurred out. But she, at the bottom of the video, she said, whoopings are not effective. So obviously, she tried that. So she tried the whole method of having him against the wall, his knees slightly bent, his arms were out. And what was on the video is the kid was like, I'll just take the whooping. I'll just take the whooping. And it went viral. And here's the thing about when you put something on the internet, people have got to understand. When you put something out there on the internet of your own choosing, you have to expect that people are going to have an opinion about it. Okay, so you can't say, y'all just need to mind y'all business and blah, 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 blah. Now, there are three things that I always say get people riled up when there's a discussion about them, which is why sometimes I just try to stay away. I don't talk about this kind of stuff to people at work and stuff like that. I try to stay away from political conversations, religious conversations, and parenting conversations. And what I mean by parenting conversation, I'm not saying, oh, my kid, oh, they did well on their ACT and that not that kind of stuff. I'm referring to when it comes to how people parent their children. Those conversations are tricky and they can cause a lot of lively discussions and differences of opinion. So I have a tendency to kind of stay away from them. And unless I just I'm feeling real spicy, I might like spice. You know, me and my old man, we always kind of sparring back and forth when it comes to something like religion and politics. For the most part, we kind of pretty much see the eye to eye, but there's some things that, you know, we just are different on. And sometimes I just like to spice it up and I just like throw a bomb out there, you know. But other than that, I know that these are the three things that people just don't. You start talking about it, you're gonna get some folks in their feelings. So when the mom posted this, or whoever posted this online, which I'm assuming is the mama, people had a lot to say. And a lot of their opinions were not kind to the mother. Now, when I saw the video and I saw him sobbing, I didn't really think much of it because I was just looking at it like, oh, well, that ain't bad. The only thing that I had, honestly, an opinion about is that I hate that these new age parents think that they need to literally put everything on online for the world to see. I cannot stand people that pick up the phone to record their child's punishment, however you choose to punish your child. That I cannot do. And I have never been a fan of that. I've never, and you know, we have seen years and years and years. Some of it has made its way to the internet. People think it's funny. Remember the kid that was kind of dancing? His mama was like, oh, okay, so you want to do this, and the kid just dancing and he crying and stuff like that. I laughed at it because I thought it was kind of funny. But at the same time, I had to stop and think to myself, well, yeah, it's funny, but it's still humiliating to the kid. We have seen all kinds of humiliation for kids. And I don't know if people ever think about the long-term effects of it just for a moment, just to make it go viral, just for a few likes, what the lasting effects of it are, right? But nonetheless, when this video was posted, we expected that there would be some comments about how this mother chose to discipline her child. Now, again, as you can see, she put whoopings are not effective. So clearly she tried the whoopings. And then when she posted this and I watched the video, the baby was like, I'll just take the whooping because it was obviously painful for him. Now, again, I personally didn't see the problem with this method here. It says how she disciplines her son is her prerogative. This is the same little boy that has gone viral several times. This time he's crying and some people are making a big deal. She's not exploiting her son, who she provides for. Okay. Like I said, listen, it goes, once you put it online, people are going to say what they going to say. And hey, it is what it is, right? And then another person wrote something completely different. They said this, let me show you. It says, yeah, it's real cute to have your kid begging to get their ass beaten. You find it funny to post on media when there's trauma in the Black community and there's more productive ways to punish and teach besides physical pain. The cycle won't ever end. Okay. I think this is the woman down at below. And she said, and that's how you do it. And then she's the one, I believe, posted the video and it just kind of went viral. And that was that, right? And then there's some more. It says, these people so damn soft these days. They acting like you beating his ass, right? And a part of me agreed a bit with that. Like, I didn't like the recording, but I didn't think that it was like the worst thing I've ever actually seen on camera with people doing. It says, exactly, this is why these kids be soft. They don't want them getting spankings, so there's other ways, and they still want to complain. And then there was other comments. I'm just showing you guys a few of the comments that I saw that were very mixed about how effective it was or what it would probably do to the kid, okay? And let me show you a few more here that's coming up. Forgive me. I just kind of threw this together really, really fast so that we can talk about it. It says, for everybody saying negative things, sports coaches do the same thing. I see no difference. It's true. I have seen coaches do this. And so I could see why the kid was in agony, to be perfectly honest with you. I've seen coaches like, well, yeah, that shit don't feel good after a while, right? Planking, any of that kind of stuff. It's awful, right? So I could see why he was crying, but I still didn't see like it being a terrible thing, right? I just didn't. That's why he wanted the whooping instead, because that's it's physical torture in a sense. Fam, I wish my mama made me do this over getting a whooping, but people in the comments saying that this is abuse when literally football and basketball coaches do this. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's the first thing that came to my mind when I saw it. It's like, oh, well, it doesn't look like a big deal to me. But again, when it comes to parenting, I told y'all, that's just one of those discussions that people just stay away from it. Just stay away from how people do it. It says there's a lot of people who have never played sports in these comments, and cheer, dance, and football and softball. If we messed up, this was a part of our punishment, and it was effective. She got her point across, built strength, and she didn't have to physically hit him. Now, yes, but if you notice what she posted was whoopings aren't working. So she clearly was at one point whooping him. And damn, how bad is this child? How bad is this little boy that the whoopings weren't working? So after my mother did this to me, I actually hated her for multiple years, and her talking and presence angered me. And so this is where this started to go a little different, where people started to think about some of the trauma that they endured and how in the Black community, we normalize certain traumas and said, well, this is the way I was raised, and this is the way it did to me, and I turned out fine. It says, don't inflict physical pain on a child, ground them, cut their allowance, cancel an outing, anything but physical pain. It's not rocket science. All right. I'm just showing you the comments. You don't have to agree with them. I am just showing you what people were saying about her method. And if they thought that it was necessary, if they thought that it was effective, right? Here's another that I'm going to show you in a moment here. I have a question. How long? Because to be sobbing tells me too long. Let's be mindful how mentally distraught this is to a child developing his brain, Okay. So I think that's all of my comments that I decided to pull. All right. Again, my opinion. I didn't necessarily think that the punishment was a terrible one, right? I've seen this in sports. It is physically exhausting. It is excruciating. And yeah, depending on how long it was being done, which is probably why the kid was crying. But that if she said that whoopings are not effective and this is what she chose to do, then again, at the end of the day, this is her child. But once you put it online, it's everybody's opinion. Everybody gonna have an opinion. Now, as I stated to you, I said, listen, I don't have a problem with what she did. I have a problem with her putting it online for the world to see. I just don't agree with people picking up their phone every time they decide to discipline their child and showing the world. Now, in my opinion, okay, because I'm a child, I was born in the 70s, all right, mid 70s. I do think that these little kids, especially coming up today, they bad as hell. They bad as hell. Because a lot of them don't get punished. A lot of them don't get anything like whatever parents are doing. Sometimes I feel like y'all ain't doing it right. Y'all fucking up. Because a lot of these kids, you know, one of the reasons why I had honestly was just tired of teaching and decided, you know what, I loved teaching. I taught for many, many years, but I was over it. It's because I felt like every year kids were getting worse. They were getting more disrespectful. I was just sick of it. And I would literally watch how kids talk to their parents. I'm like, you know what? So first of all, you can't talk to me like that. I'm over it, right? I do think that whatever is happening right now, as far as discipline and how what some are doing, it's not working. But I'm also come from this idea of maybe, you know, the whole corporal punishment and the beatings. I don't necessarily think that's been effective either. And it's true that I do think that the Black community, we have normalized a lot of that shit. We have normalized that kind of trauma, right? And we just think like, well, I turned out okay and stuff like that. You know, I remember getting hit with belts. I remember one time when I was looking at this last night, I'm thinking to myself, well, one time I remember my mama cook a bunch of sweet potato pies. She had baked them and she left them, you know, on the table to cool off. And she went to the store because back then, you know, you could leave your kids. I was like probably 8 and 9. You leave your kids. Don't touch the stove. Don't open the door. I was sticking my finger, just tasting the sweet potato pie. When she came home, she beat my ass. And I remember that beat. And we laugh about it. We used to laugh about it, but not because I just thought it traumatized me, but maybe it traumatized me enough to remember it. Because I promise you, I never forgot it, but I never did it again. So I think to myself, are whoopings honestly effective? Because if you got to keep whooping a kid, then they're not working. That's kind of like the thing, right? Now, my father never had to put his hands on me. All he had to do is raise his voice to me and I would crumble. Now, I don't beat my kids. I ain't whip my kids. They got popped. But it was never to that point where I needed to just take out a belt. I've never used a belt on any of my, on my kids. I just never done that. That was just my opinion. And that's how I chose to do it. But that don't mean that how I punished them wasn't effective. I promise you they ain't do that shit no more. You know, there were things that and they just never, kids do their little things and stuff like that. But I never resorted to the taking the clothes down and getting the electric, extension cord and beating their ass. I mean, I remember stuff like that and hearing stuff like that. And I remember my mama popping my ass and beating my ass in the street with her shoe. And again, we laugh about that stuff, but it wasn't funny when you stop and you think about it. It's like, well, that shit really wasn't funny. That was traumatic. And, but at the same time, I'm just thinking to myself, if that's what they came from, that's all they knew. Some of this shit isn't working today. But if this works and he don't do it no more and he remembers this and he doesn't want to do whatever he was doing and he doesn't do it again, she wasn't physically harming him. The only thing that I think she fucked up on is that she recorded it. And that's not okay because I don't like public humiliation like this. But if this kind of punishment don't make him do whatever the hell he was doing before, then kudos. Just don't record the shit. So I ask you guys, what do you think about this particular type of punishment? And do you think that Black people, we normalize the kind of beatings that we got back in the day and the whoopings? Do we normalize that stuff too much to the point that, we say, well, that's how we were done and we turned out all right. Well, not all of us turned out all right. Not all of us. And as far as taking things away, the little thing was like, take it away, punish them, cancel them out. And these kids got so much shit. If I tell my kid to go to their room, they got their TV in there. I'm going to literally have to strip the room out in order for them not to do nothing. And if that's what people do, that's fine. If that's what works for you, that's fine. Again, I'm not big on like the beating the kid and beating them down the street and when it comes to the form of abuse, yeah, you're going too far. But as far as this, I personally didn't find anything wrong with it. I really, really didn't. And like I said, once you put it online, people are going to have an opinion. But I didn't personally, the only thing I found wrong is that she recorded it and put it online. Other than that, I just didn't find anything, honestly, wrong with this punishment, right? And if he ever plays sports, if he ever plays any kind of sport, he better get used to it. He already know what it feel like. He already know what it feel like, okay? And hopefully he won't do whatever it is that he was doing before. Because again, she's talking about the whoopings are not effective. And like I said, I was like, well, damn, how bad is this child? That whoopings ain't doing nothing for him. Anyway, let me know what you guys think and your idea of parenting and what you think is effective and not effective. Go ahead and leave a comment, comment, and subscribe.